When most people think of space opera movies, one name eclipses all the stars: Star Wars. And sure, Star Wars deserves its legendary status. It defined the genre, changed cinema forever, and inspired generations. But here's the thing, it's not the only game in town. In its shadow lies a constellation of other space operas. Movies packed with sweeping battles, intergalactic politics, cosmic love stories, and high-stakes adventures. Some bombed at the box office only to find cult status later. Others quietly redefined the genre in their own way. So, strap in. Today, we're jumping to light speed through the 10 best space opera movies that aren't Star Wars. Number 10, Flash Gordon, 1980. When it first dropped, a lot of people just thought it was a goofy mess. But over the years, this movie has built up a hardcore following who know exactly why it's a masterpiece of pulp cinema. The story is straight out of a comic book, literally. It's based on the 1930s strip and follows football star Flash Gordon, who, along with a travel agent and a nutty scientist, gets blasted across the galaxy. Their mission was to stop the evil Emperor Ming the Merciless from blowing up Earth. It's exactly as ridiculous and awesome as it sounds. What makes this movie truly iconic isn't the plot, it's the sheer style. The director, Mike Hodges, didn't shy away from the source material. He cranked it up to 11. Everything looks like it was ripped from a Saturday morning cartoon, with sets that pop and costumes that are a riot of color. And the performances are just as big. Brian Blessed is a legend as Prince Vultan, yelling dive with more gusto than a person should ever have. Even Max von Sydow, playing the big bad Emperor Ming, manages to be menacing while wearing the most flamboyant robes you've ever seen. And you can't talk about this movie without talking about the Queen soundtrack. It's perfection. Seriously, Flash's theme is an absolute banger that's probably more famous than the movie itself. I bet you can hear it right now. Critics back in the day were confused by it, calling it cheesy. And yeah, it is. That's the point. While other sci-fi films were trying to be all serious and gritty, Flash Gordon was having the time of its life. That's why we still love it. It's a reminder that sometimes sci-fi is just about having fun. Oh, and here's a wild fact. George Lucas wanted to make a Flash Gordon movie, but he couldn't get the rights. So he just made Star Wars instead. Just imagine a world without it. So yeah, it's not a super serious, deep space saga. It's a joyful, loud, and totally unapologetic good time. It's proof that sometimes all you need is a good chant and a hero in a tight-fitting jumpsuit to save the day. But if Flash Gordon is all camp and comic book spectacle, the next film on our list shows what happens when space opera takes a sharp turn into sleek futurism, fashion, and a whole lot of chaos. Number 9, The Fifth Element, 1997. If Flash Gordon was pure camp, then The Fifth Element is the same idea, but with a total makeover. We're talking high fashion, neon lights, and a completely chaotic blend of action and comedy. Directed by Luc Besson, this 1997 movie is one of the boldest and weirdest sci-fi blockbusters of its time. The story starts in the 23rd century, where a massive ball of darkness is threatening to swallow the universe. The only thing that can stop it? A mysterious fifth element. That element turns out to be Lilu, played by Mila Jovovich, who crash lands right into the life of Corbin Dallas, played by Bruce Willis, a grumpy ex-soldier turned cab driver. Suddenly, this down-on-his-luck guy is thrust into a galaxy-spanning race to save all of humanity. On paper, the plot is pretty standard stuff, but what makes The Fifth Element so unforgettable is everything else. Besson built a universe that's completely ridiculous and absolutely stunning. Futuristic New York is a vertical maze of flying taxis. The alien designs are wonderfully strange, and the fashion? It's on another level. Costume designer Jean-Paul Gaultier created over 1,000 outfits, from Lilu's iconic bandage suit to Chris Tucker's truly bonkers wardrobe as DJ Ruby Road. And speaking of Ruby Road, if Brian Blessed nearly stole Flash Gordon, then Chris Tucker almost runs away with this movie. His shrieking, over-the-top performance feels like it's from another dimension, but it somehow fits perfectly. Add Gary Oldman as the unhinged villain Jean-Baptiste Zorg, and you have a cast of characters as weird as the movie itself. The diva dance scene is a perfect example of the film's unique insanity. An operatic alien performance that suddenly turns into a techno fight scene. It's the kind of moment you can only find here. Some people called it style over substance, but that style is exactly why it's a classic. Underneath all the chaos and color is a surprisingly sweet theme that love itself, embodied by Lilu, is the ultimate weapon. If Flash Gordon was a comic book opera and The Fifth Element was a couture fever dream, the next entry shows us how space opera can shift gears into something grander, darker, and mythic, an adaptation so ambitious it took 2 generations of filmmakers to get it right. Number 8, Dune, 1984 and 2021. Few stories in science fiction carry the kind of weight that Frank Herbert's Dune does. The 1965 novel isn't just a book, it's considered the definitive text of space opera, a dense saga of galactic politics, religion, and prophecy. But turning that massive world into a film? That's always been a Herculean task. In 1984, director David Lynch took a swing at it, creating one of the most polarizing sci-fi films ever made. Visually, his Dune is a bizarre masterpiece. The sets are sprawling, the costumes are surreal, and the monstrous designs of House Harkonnen feel like something out of a fever dream. Unfortunately, studio meddling and a rushed pace left audiences utterly confused. The movie was a commercial flop, but over the years, it's become a cult classic, a flawed, beautiful mess with truly unforgettable imagery. Almost 40 years later, Denis Villeneuve finally delivered the epic adaptation fans had always dreamed of. Released in 2021, Villeneuve's Dune is grand, sweeping, and intensely loyal to the source material. It's a film that breathes, with every frame feeling monumental. The vast, empty deserts of Arrakis and the terrifying scale of the sandworms are captured with a stunning sense of awe. Hans Zimmer's score doesn't just play in the background, it rumbles through you, immersing you in the raw, otherworldly feel of the universe. At its core, Dune is the story of Paul Atreides, the young heir to a noble family. When his house is granted control of Arrakis, the desert planet that holds spice, the universe's most valuable substance, Paul is thrust into a brutal struggle for power. Spice is essential for interstellar travel, making the planet the most coveted in existence. As betrayals and ancient prophecies unfold, Paul finds himself intertwined with the destiny of the Fremen, the planet's native warriors. What makes Dune more than just spectacle is its depth. This is space opera with a conscience. Herbert's story grapples with profound questions. Can we trust charismatic leaders? Is destiny a gift or a cage? And what happens when humanity pushes nature to its breaking point? From Lynch's chaotic, dreamlike vision to Villeneuve's sleek, mythic epic, Dune has given us 2 radically different takes on the same story. One is a beautiful failure, the other a resounding triumph. Together, they show us why this timeless saga is at the very heart of the genre's cinematic legacy. But if Dune is mythic and contemplative, the next film swings in the opposite direction. Chaotic, over the top, and so bizarre it practically redefined what weird space opera could look like. Number 7. Jupiter Ascending, 2015. Some space operas try to be grounded and realistic. Jupiter Ascending isn't one of them. In 2015, the Wachowskis, fresh off their success with the Matrix trilogy, delivered one of the most ambitious, chaotic, and polarizing sci-fi films of the century. Critics mostly hated it, and audiences were confused, but it's quietly built a loyal cult following. Love it or hate it, you just can't ignore it. The film follows Jupiter Jones, played by Mila Kunis, a Chicago housekeeper who discovers she's intergalactic royalty, literally the owner of planet Earth. Before she can even process this bizarre news, she's caught in a cosmic power struggle between 3 wealthy siblings who control vast empires and see human beings as nothing more than a disposable commodity. Then you have Channing Tatum as Kane Wise, a genetically engineered soldier with wolf DNA, rocket boots, and a tragic past. Yes, he is a space werewolf on rocket skates, and it's every bit as crazy as it sounds. Then there's Eddie Redmayne as Balaam Abrasax, one of the strangest villains ever put on screen. He whispers his lines one moment and shrieks with unhinged fury the next. On the surface, Jupiter Ascending is a mess. The plot feels rushed, the dialogue is clunky, and some characters aren't fully developed. But if you look deeper, you can see the Wachowskis swinging for the fences with a mythic scale. The visuals are simply stunning. Palaces floating in space, genetically altered armies, and high-speed dogfights that look like futuristic paintings in motion. The central theme of corporate greed taken to a cosmic level feels incredibly relevant today, where everything, even planets, can be a commodity. What makes the film endure among its fans is its sheer nerve. While most blockbusters play it safe, Jupiter Ascending throws everything at the screen. Sci-fi dynasties, reincarnation, romance, betrayal, gothic horror, and yes, space rollerblading. It doesn't always work, but when it does, it's unlike anything else you've ever seen. Over time, people are starting to reevaluate it, not as a box office failure, but as a misunderstood operatic fantasy. If Star Wars is a play by Shakespeare, Jupiter Ascending is a chaotic opera, flawed and messy but overflowing with imagination. And if this film was chaos wrapped in couture, the next one is the opposite. sleek, funny, and surprisingly heartfelt. A movie that proved even the weirdest heroes can steal the galaxy's spotlight. Number 6. Guardians of the Galaxy, 2014. Back in 2014, Marvel made what looked like a crazy bet. Instead of leaning on their A-listers like Iron Man or Captain America, they gave us a talking raccoon, a walking tree who can only say 3 words, and a goofball outlaw with a Walkman. On paper, Guardians of the Galaxy seemed like it was going to be a total flop. Instead, it became one of the most beloved space operas in recent memory. At the center of it all is Peter Quill, or as he likes to be called, Star-Lord. He was a kid from the 80s who got abducted from Earth and grew up among smugglers and mercenaries. Played with perfect smirking charm by Chris Pratt, Quill accidentally gets his hands on a powerful orb. This sets him on a collision course with a crew of total misfits: Gamora, a deadly assassin; Drax the Destroyer, a warrior driven by grief; Rocket, a genetically engineered raccoon with a major attitude problem; and Groot, a living tree whose entire vocabulary is "I am Groot." What makes the movie so good isn't just the plot. It's a fun ride from a heist to saving the galaxy. It's the chemistry. These characters should not work together, but their constant bickering and unlikely bonds become the heart of the film. By the end, when they stand together against the villain, you're not watching a bunch of superheroes. You're watching a dysfunctional family fighting for each other. And then there's the soundtrack. Director James Gunn built the entire movie around Quill's awesome mix, a collection of 70s and 80s hits. Songs like "Hooked on a Feeling" and "Come and Get Your Love" give the film its unique vibe, turning action scenes and quiet moments into pure joy. It's not just nostalgia. It's a way of making all the cosmic chaos feel grounded and human. Visually, Guardians is stunning. The vibrant planet of nowhere, the insane Kiln prison break, and the massive final battle over Xandar are all fantastic. Yet, the movie never loses its humor or its heart. In a lot of ways, this movie is Marvel's answer to Star Wars, but instead of Jedi and destiny, we got sarcasm, mixtapes, and a group of lovable weirdos who learned to be heroes. If Guardians showed us that space opera can be both hilarious and heartfelt, the next film proves that even low-budget productions can aim for the stars, and sometimes, against all odds, hit their target. Number 5. Battle Beyond the Stars, 1980. After Star Wars exploded in 1977, every studio wanted its own galactic hit. While most of the imitators quickly faded away, one scrappy little movie managed to carve out its own place in space opera history: Battle Beyond the Stars. Produced by the legendary low-budget king Roger Corman in 1980, this film was essentially the Magnificent Seven in space, and against all odds, it totally worked. The story is simple and classic. A peaceful farming planet is under threat from a ruthless warlord named Sador, who has a weapon that can destroy entire worlds. With no army of their own, the villagers send a young man named Shad, Richard Thomas, from the Waltons, on a desperate mission to recruit warriors across the galaxy. The team he assembles isn't a military force. It's a ragtag group of mercenaries, rogues, and misfits, each with their own unique quirks. Together, they prepare for a final stand against impossible odds. On paper, this sounds like standard sci-fi fare, but here's what makes it special. Despite a tiny budget of less than $2 million, Battle Beyond the Stars packed in more imagination than films 10 times its size. The reason? Corman had a secret weapon, a young crew of soon-to-be legends. The production design was handled by James Cameron, long before Terminator or Aliens made him a household name. His work gave the film a sense of scale and detail far beyond what a shoestring budget should allow. Even the villain's spaceship, a grotesque biomechanical monster, foreshadows Cameron's later work. The cast, too, gave the film an unexpected boost. George Peppard brought great charisma as a wisecracking space cowboy. Robert Vaughn basically reprised his role from The Magnificent Seven, but with a laser gun, and John Saxon was perfectly over the top as the evil satyr, proving that sometimes you just need a little glorious overacting to make a space opera work. While the special effects definitely look dated now, they have a certain scrappy charm. The miniature battles, colorful explosions, and creative alien designs give the movie a pulpy, Saturday matinee vibe that's still a blast to watch today. Though it never became a massive blockbuster, Battle Beyond the Stars earned its status as a cult classic. It's proof that space opera doesn't need a massive studio budget. All it really needs is a whole lot of creativity and heart. If this film proved you can make a galaxy on a shoestring, the next entry shows what happens when you scale things up, blend mythology with sci-fi, and launch one of the most enduring franchises in the genre. Number 4. Stargate, 1994. Before it became a massive TV franchise, Stargate started as a bold, big-screen experiment. Directed by Roland Emmerich and released in 1994, the film mixed ancient mythology with futuristic sci-fi to create something truly unique. Audiences loved it, and it went on to earn nearly $200 million worldwide, laying the groundwork for a universe that would span decades. The story starts on Earth, where archaeologist Dr. Daniel Jackson, James Spader, deciphers the secrets of a giant ring-like artifact discovered in Egypt. The device turns out to be a Stargate, a wormhole that can instantly transport people across galaxies. Jackson joins a military team led by Colonel Jack O'Neill, Kurt Russell. To travel through the gate, they discover a desert world where human slaves are ruled by an alien who has been posing as the Egyptian sun god, Ra. The true genius of Stargate is its blending of history and science fiction. It takes the mystery of Earth's ancient pyramids and twists it into a cosmic conspiracy. What if the gods of antiquity were actually alien overlords? This concept gave the film a unique identity and set it apart from the typical space war stories of the era. Visually, the movie was impressive. The massive desert landscapes made the alien planet feel both familiar and otherworldly. The designs of Ra's soldiers, complete with mechanized jackal and falcon helmets, managed to look both ancient and futuristic. And David Arnold's soaring score gave the film a sense of grand adventure. At its heart, Stargate was held together by the chemistry between its two main characters. Spader's Jackson was the optimistic idealist, driven by discovery, while Russell's O'Neill, haunted by personal tragedy, brought a gritty, stoic presence. Their dynamic kept the story grounded, even as it ventured into cosmic territory. Critics were mixed, with some calling it just popcorn pulp, but audiences embraced its adventurous spirit. Most importantly, Stargate planted the seeds for the successful TV series that would follow, proving the concept had a staying power far beyond the original movie. As far as space operas go, Stargate deserves credit for doing something different. It wasn't just about spaceships and battles, it was about reimagining humanity's past through a cosmic lens. And if Stargate offered mythology with its space opera, the next film is pure visual spectacle. An explosion of color, imagination, and audacity from a director who wanted to outdo even himself. Number 3, Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets, 2017. If The Fifth Element proved that Luc Besson could make a space opera with style, Valerian and the City of 1,000 Planets was his attempt to go bigger. Way bigger. Released in 2017 with a massive $200 million budget, this French blockbuster was sold as Europe's answer to Star Wars. When it comes to pure visuals and imagination, it nearly delivered. Based on the classic French comic series Valerian and Laureline, the film is a feast for the eyes, filled with incredible worlds, unique alien species, and wild sci-fi concepts. The story follows two intergalactic agents, Valerian, Dane DeHaan, and Laureline, Cara Delevingne. They are tasked with protecting Alpha, the city of 1,000 planets, a sprawling space station that has grown over centuries into a floating metropolis where countless species coexist. But beneath its peaceful surface, there's a hidden threat connected to a supposedly extinct alien race, and a dark secret about humanity's role in their downfall. Plot-wise, the film is messy. The pacing can be clunky, the dialogue sometimes falls flat, and the romantic chemistry between the leads doesn't always click. But what makes the movie stand out is its boundless imagination. From the opening montage showing Alpha's evolution to the mind-bending big market sequence, an interdimensional bazaar where different realities overlap, Besson delivers world-building on a scale few filmmakers ever try. And then there are the moments that truly make the film special. Like Rihanna's performance as Bubble, a shape-shifting alien entertainer. Her burlesque dance turns into a surprisingly emotional side story. It's these moments, bizarre, dazzling, and oddly touching, that elevate Valerian beyond its flaws. The visuals are the real star of the show. Every frame is packed with detail, from neon-lit alien nightclubs to glittering underwater worlds. Critics were divided, often pointing out the weak story and characters, but even they had to admit that no one else was making a sci-fi film that looked this bold in 2017. Although it didn't do well at the box office, Valerian has found a dedicated fan base that loves space opera in its purest form, unapologetically over the top, unbound by realism, and fueled by a truly spectacular imagination. If Star Wars is epic myth, Valerian is pure visual spectacle. But where Valerian was a visual overdose of color and chaos, the next film strips things down to something rawer, a scrappy underdog tale that brought closure to one of the most beloved cult TV shows in sci-fi history. Number 2, Serenity, 2005. Sometimes a TV show gets cancelled and just fades away. But in the rare case of Serenity, a cancelled show was brought back to life by a fan base so loud and dedicated that the network couldn't ignore them. The film served as a continuation and a proper ending for Joss Whedon's brilliant but short-lived series Firefly, giving fans the closure they'd been begging for while delivering one of the most memorable space opera films of the 2000s. The story follows the crew of the Serenity, a beat-up spaceship flying on the edges of a galaxy controlled by the oppressive Alliance. At the center of it all is Captain Malcolm Reynolds, Nathan Fillion, a former soldier who now works as a smuggler, hiding his deep moral code under a thick layer of cynicism. His crew is a collection of misfits. His loyal second-in-command Zoe, the hilarious pilot Wash, the brilliant mechanic Kaylee, the greedy mercenary Jane, the elegant companion Inara, and Shepherd Book, a preacher with a mysterious past. The main plot revolves around River Tam, a gifted but psychologically damaged young woman who was experimented on by the Alliance. The secrets in her mind are the key to exposing a terrible government cover-up, and the Alliance will do anything to silence her. As the crew tries to protect her, they uncover the chilling truth about the Reavers, savage, mindlessly violent marauders that terrorize the galaxy. The reveal of their origin is one of the most shocking and haunting parts of the film, turning the space opera into a serious reflection on government control and human experimentation. What makes Serenity so powerful isn't just the action, from the epic space dogfights to the desperate final stand. It's the emotional weight. Whedon was never afraid to take risks, and that included killing off beloved characters in scenes that still hit hard. For fans of Firefly, this movie wasn't just a film, it was a bittersweet farewell. Stylistically, Serenity is much grittier than a lot of other space operas. It blends the feel of a Western with futuristic sci-fi. The dusty planets look like old frontier towns, and spaceships rattle and groan instead of gleaming. The heroes aren't knights or chosen ones, they're smugglers, outlaws, and regular people just trying to survive. That's what made it special. It felt incredibly human. While it never became a huge blockbuster, Serenity stands as a testament to the power of fan passion. It's a love letter to Firefly, and a powerful space opera in its own right, proving that a cancelled show can be resurrected to get the ending it truly deserved. And if Serenity was about saying goodbye, our final entry is about saying something timeless, an operatic vision of humanity's place in the cosmos that changed cinema forever. Number 1, 2001, A Space Odyssey, 1968. If every other film on this list showed us what a space opera could be, 2001, A Space Odyssey showed us what it could mean. Directed by Stanley Kubrick and released in 1968, this isn't just a movie, it's an experience. It completely redefined science fiction and cinema as a whole, and even after more than half a century, it still feels like a transmission from the future. The film doesn't begin with spaceships or laser battles, but with apes. The Dawn of Man sequence traces humanity's very first steps toward civilization, guided by the mysterious appearance of a massive black monolith. That same monolith reappears millions of years later on the moon, its discovery sending humanity hurtling deeper into the stars, toward Jupiter, toward the unknown, and ultimately, toward evolution itself. Kubrick's approach to the genre is the polar opposite of something like Star Wars. Instead of heroic battles and galactic empires, 2001 gives us silence, deliberate movements, and a chilling sense of realism. Spaceships drift through space with agonizing slowness. Dialogue is minimal and cold. The story isn't handed to you. It's presented like a riddle, daring you to figure out its deeper meaning. And then there's HAL 9000, the ship's AI, who is one of the most unforgettable characters in film history. HAL's calm, soothing voice hides a terrifying and chilling villain. His so quiet breakdown, and the crew's frantic attempt to survive, remains one of the most suspenseful sequences ever filmed. It's a space opera stripped of melodrama, and filled instead with pure dread. The film's most iconic section is the Stargate sequence, a wild explosion of color, light, and abstract visuals as astronaut Dave Bowman journeys to the very edge of human comprehension. It's pure visual and auditory grandeur, designed to overwhelm your senses and make you question everything. Humanity's place in the universe, the meaning of intelligence, and the future of our species. When it first came out, critics were completely split. Some called it a work of genius, others dismissed it as boring and pretentious, but audiences kept coming back. It became a cultural phenomenon, influencing generations of filmmakers, from George Lucas to Christopher Nolan, and setting the gold standard for what a science fiction film could truly be. 2001 isn't just a film you watch, it's a film that stays with you. a film that lingers in your mind long after the final, haunting shot of the star child. If Serenity was about saying farewell, 2001 is about saying forever. It closes this list not just as one of the best space operas outside Star Wars, but as one of the greatest films ever made, period. So there you have it, the 10 best space opera movies that aren't Star Wars. From the neon camp of Flash Gordon to the couture chaos of The Fifth Element, from the mythic weight of Dune to the misunderstood madness of Jupiter Ascending, these films prove one thing. The galaxy of space opera is a lot bigger than one saga. Some of these movies stumbled at the box office but lived on as cult favorites. Others quietly changed cinema forever. Together they show that space opera doesn't belong to a single franchise. It's an entire genre of imagination, spectacle, and cosmic storytelling that continues to evolve. Now it's your turn. Which of these films do you think deserves more love? Did we leave out a favorite of yours? Maybe Starship Troopers, Event Horizon, or even Treasure Planet? Drop your pick in the comments below. We'd love to hear what you think belongs on this list. And hey, if you enjoyed this journey through the stars, give that like button a quick tap. It helps more fans discover Yesterverse. Don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the movies, shows, and forgotten gems that shaped our imaginations.